When Megan told me she was heading out on a girls' trip, I didn't question it. She'd been distant for months, short answers, late nights at work, her attention always glued to her phone. She'd laugh at texts, flip her screen away, and say, "You're overthinking, Ryan." So when she said she and her friends were going to coast for the weekend, I smiled and told her, "You deserve a break." I meant it. At least, I thought I did. The first night she was gone, the house felt heavier, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message, but only got curt replies. Just arrived. Dinner time. Then silence. By midnight, I was scrolling through old photos. Us on our wedding day. Her laughing in sunlight. The way she used to look at me before life got complicated. Somewhere between nostalgia and exhaustion, a nagging thought crept in. Was this trip really about friendship or something else? The next morning, I made coffee and decided to keep busy by cleaning the guest room, the space Megan used for her suitcases and travel gear. As I opened the closet, her spare phone, one I thought she'd lost, tumbled from a bag and hit the floor. I froze. The screen was cracked but still lit up, notifications blinking across it. Messages from someone named T. My hands shook as I tapped the first one. "T, can't wait to finally have you to myself. No more pretending, Megan." I told him it's just a girl's trip. He totally bought it. I read it twice, 3 times. My chest went icy. The date? Yesterday, right before she left. For a long moment, I just stood there, phone in hand, the ticking clock echoing in the silence. I wasn't the type to yell or break things. I'd always believed trust grew through calm, understanding conversations. But in that moment, understanding was agony. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I quietly packed a small overnight bag and drove to our cabin by the lake, the one she thought I rarely used. While she was away, I decided to prepare something of my own, something that would show her the truth in a way she couldn't ignore. At the cabin, the air was crisp. The lake mirrored the late afternoon sun perfectly. I set down my bag and slipped inside, careful not to disturb a thing. The cabin had been untouched for months, just the way I liked it. But today, it wouldn't stay quiet for long. I retrieved the hidden camera we'd installed months ago. Small, discreet, always meant for security. But today, it served a different purpose. I reviewed the footage from the past year, paying attention to moments I had previously dismissed as normal. My stomach twisted at the first clip. Megan laughing too loudly with someone at the gym, lingering touches on his arm, whispered conversations that ended as soon as I walked in. The next clip showed her leaving a cafe late at night, smiling as she texted him. Piece by piece, the picture came together. The woman I trusted, the woman I had built my life with, had been living a secret life parallel to ours. Then came the final clip, the one that shattered everything. The camera caught her arriving at the hotel. She claimed she'd be out with friends. She checked in, then walked down a hallway to a suite. Inside, a man I'd never met waited, his presence a clear echo of betrayal. She paused, maybe thinking of me. Before closing the door, I didn't feel anger immediately. I felt clarity. Every doubt, every gut suspicion, every small uneasy moment. I was right, and I realized I had a choice. I could erupt, confront her in fury, ruin everything in a storm of shouting. Or I could let her feel the weight of her own actions without saying a word. I chose the latter. The next morning, I returned home, making sure nothing looked out of place. Megan called, laughing about the sunrise over the lake. I smiled calmly. Yes, it was beautiful. I hope your trip was too. She didn't catch the edge of my tone, the quiet gravity of what I knew and what she didn't. That evening, she came home expecting normalcy. But as she stepped inside, she froze. On the coffee table lay a single note. Truth waits for no one. Check your phone. Her pulse spiked as she picked it up. The phone I hadn't touched since it fell from her bag now displayed a new message, one she hadn't sent. Megan's face went pale. The text was simple, devastating. I saw everything. Every laugh, every touch, every lie. You're home now. But the truth was already waiting. Her hands shook as she opened the secure folder on the phone, watching every betrayal unfold. I didn't have to speak. Her eyes said it all. Guilt, fear, the realization I'd always known more than she imagined. For a long moment, she stood frozen, the weight of her choices pressing down. I stayed in the doorway, arms crossed, voice calm. "You went on your trip thinking you were free," I said softly. "But freedom isn't escaping consequences." She dropped the phone onto the couch and buried her face in her hands. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I sat across from her, letting silence fill the room. This wasn't revenge. It was realization. The kind that hits when someone finally confronts the truth of their choices. After a long pause, she looked up, eyes glassy. "Ryan, she began. But no words could undo what had been done. I shook my head. No explanations, no excuses, just honesty from now on or nothing. The following days were quiet. Megan didn't leave. She didn't argue. She didn't pretend everything was fine. She simply existed under the shadow of her own decisions. And for the first time in months, I felt a strange peace. Not triumph, not joy, just clarity. I knew where I stood, and I knew she understood what she had lost. Eventually, she spoke. "I didn't think you'd ever find out." I nodded. "I always knew. You just needed to see that truth doesn't wait." It wasn't about punishment or humiliation. It was about awakening. And as she absorbed that reality, I realized the trip she thought would be an escape had become a turning point for both of us. By the week's end, Megan stopped hiding, stopped lying, and began facing the life she had risked losing. We didn't fix everything overnight, but honesty replaced secrets. And though the road ahead would be hard, at least it was real. Sometimes it only takes a small trip, a few hidden moments, and one revelation to change everything. And when truth finally comes home, there's no pretending, no running, no choice but to face it.